I always say there's two justice systems in America. There's actually three. There's a justice system for rich and powerful people who buy off the politicians, who buy off the judges, and who are well connected. Then there's a justice system for like middle class, formerly middle class, and every normal people. And then there's a justice system for black people, brown people, and indigenous people. The third justice system is the worst because it's unjust. You have black people literally in jails in St. Louis, Baltimore, and other inner cities for nothing. Don't even have charges against them, and in jail for 2 years. I learned about this in St. Louis, and I've read about it in Baltimore. But in America, it's truly, truly backwards and sick when the very people that have been victimized are made to pay for the legal defense of the perpetrators of the crime. In what legal system does that make any sense? Daniel, $2. Do you use OBS to stream? I do. If you got a better option, let me know. Email jordan@protonmail.com is my email. That's where you could send ideas, comments, questions, concerns, or anything else. We're definitely looking for funding too. Email jordan@protonmail.com. So I cover the Flint water crisis because I don't think poisoning American citizens should be normalized. Got a big story, I believe, that will be out in September about the Flint water crisis and the state of Michigan and what they did and did not do, what is true and what is not true. And let me tell you something, the numbers that they've been putting out, I have quite a bit of evidence that not exactly true. I've been teasing it for a while because let me tell you something, ain't easy to get it published in a corporate media outlet. And we're probably going to end up publishing it ourselves when we launch statuscoup.com, which is close to launch. So if you're not on my email list yet, go to jordancharting.com now and sign up for my email list so you get the news and the stories first. Flint, the attorney general who's now running for governor, he's a Trump lover. He's vile. He's anti-immigrant. But as attorney general in Michigan, he has charged 15 people in Rick Snyder's administration with everything from involuntary manslaughter to criminal negligence and to other things. I want you to guess how much money has been spent from Michigan and, more importantly, Flint taxpayers for the criminal defense fund of Rick Snyder's administration officials charged in the Flint water crisis. I want you to guess. I will tell you in a few minutes. Put it out there. Throw out your guesses. Facebook, throw out your guesses on YouTube. How much money you think? I will give you a hint. We're talking millions. How much money has been spent from the state of Michigan taxpayer and Flint taxpayers to pay for the Director of Health and Human Services defense, who's now going to trial, longest pre-trial in Michigan history, the Chief Medical Officer, Eden Wells, Michigan Department of Environmental Quality officials, $50 million, not $50 million. Not totally out of range, but not $50 million. Good guess, Cheryl. I'm going to give you a few more guesses, but when I saw this number, I don't get stunned easily. Ruth, $6 million, higher than $6 million. Carl Malone says, they charge you got poisoned water, then you have to pay for clean water and lawyer. Yep. Spider says, it's good to be the king, like Mel Brooks said. 47 million, it's lower than that, but it's lower than 47 million and higher than 15 million. Between 15 million and 40 million. Going once, 32, close. Going twice, $26 million taxpayers have spent. You want to talk about democracy being under attack? That's happening right now in America. Spending to date on Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyons' Flint water crisis legal team has surpassed what Genesee County spent on court-appointed attorneys for every indigent defendant in the county in the last fiscal year. And that cost will only increase as the state has hired a third law firm to assist him as his case moves closer to trial. New accounting requested by MLive, the Flint Journal, from 3 state agencies shows spending on attorneys hired to represent current and former state employees charged with crimes or accused civil wrongdoing in Flint has toppled $26 million. No part of that total has risen higher than the spending on Lyon, who earlier this month had the case against him, including charges of involuntary manslaughter, bound over to Genesee Circuit Court for trial. Like all state employees accused of crimes or facing civil litigation tied to the Flint water crisis, Lyon isn't paying his own attorney bills. Michigan taxpayers are. Attorneys for Lyon have billed taxpayers $1.6 million to date, according to Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Genesee Circuit Court Administrator Barbara Menier said Genesee County as a whole spent $1.5 million in the last fiscal year on public defenders. One government official has had the equal taxpayer, no more taxpayer money spent on his defense than public defenders. So when you have something against you, you have to go bankrupt to hire a lawyer, and most of us can't. But if you're a government official under Rick Snyder's Michigan, oh, the taxpayers will just pay for it. Because we're never going to acknowledge fault, because we are privileged white men, and we're going to go down fighting, and we're not going to jail. The people we poison will pay for it. On Lyon's behalf, Department of Health and Human Services has spent $1.5 million with Wiley and Chamberlain, the firm whose attorneys most often have been in court with the director. Another $118,000 with Birch Law, the firm headed by former Michigan Solicitor General John Birch, and has recently inked a $400,000 contract with Chartier and Nyam Fukadu, I don't even know what the hell last name that is, a law firm with offices in Lansing and Grand Rapids. Quote, "We retained additional counsel to support Wiley and Chamberlain's work for Director Lyon," a DHS spokesperson, Angela Miniscu, said in an email to MLive. Spokeswoman for DHSS didn't immediately say how that's being decided in their department, where Lyon remains on the job as the top-ranked health official in the state and a member of the governor's cabinet. State Senate Minority Leader Jim Ananich said there's been little explanation given to lawmakers. "I don't know why they are spending so much money," he said. "It's very troubling. It makes me question what the real motive is. The real motive is to have zero accountability and to get off scot-free with poisoning poor black and white people in Flint." And by the way, somebody just made a really great comment in the live chat. This is the same thing as North Dakota for DAPO private police. The taxpayers paid, so the taxpayers, this federal government paid back North Dakota legal enforcement for brutalizing and attacking the people. I mean, this is fascism. You have taxpayers who were victimized and poisoned. And by the way, residents in Flint aren't getting Medicare for all. They're not having all their medical bills paid for. A lot of them I know are close to bankruptcy paying for their medical bills from autoimmune disorders, cancer. I just spoke with a cancer patient last night. She's got thyroid cancer. Told me I'm going broke trying to pay for all my treatment because health insurance won't pay for all of it. $26 million. Not a damn word about this in the mainstream media. I mean, the Flint Journal had it. You don't see it anywhere else. Just, it's normal for taxpayers to pay for the criminal defense of the very officials who poisoned residents. It's not just Flint. Why are the state of Michigan taxpayers in other areas paying for this? Why shouldn't Nick Lyon pay for his own damn defense like everybody else? You aren't independently wealthy. I'm not independently wealthy. Why should these officials get the the mountain of extra support. That's how you win your freedom, by having more money. It's outrageous, and it's equally outrageous this isn't getting media attention, that there aren't protests in the street and cameras to cover those protests. This is not right. It should not happen in Flint or anywhere else. If you have been victimized by your government, you should not be held responsible to pay for their criminal defense. It is backwards. And reporting Jen and I have done, Jen's on vacation this week, will very much soon show might be some other folks that should have concerns about their criminal prosecution. Dun dun dun.